Aren't you ready to go? I'll be here waiting. I'll be here waiting, waiting.
Hey, welcome in, welcome in. Don't know why I was doing that. I guess I was caught up in the weekend madness here. But good morning and happy Saturday, happy weekend to everybody. And you might be wondering, well, man, I thought you were going live Tuesday and Thursdays. Well, I am going live Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this past Thursday I had some appointments that kind of slipped my mind at the last minute. And so it's kind of a makeup live stream, if you will. But gotta do it. The show must go on, as they say. But over in the chat, we got Bone Tired Travelers in the house. Welcome in, and good morning to you. Hope your weekend is starting off right. And of course, we got Scott from Controversial Cruising in the house. Always good to see you, my friend. And he says, did Denise push you to come up too? Well, no, I just, I figured, like I say, I just started and I felt kind of bad canceling, with the new schedule and everything. I didn't want to, because then people were going to be like, man, he's given up already. But I thought, well, because I had an appointment in the morning, and I rescheduled it for the afternoon. And then I realized, well, I'm supposed to be having lunch with my daughter for her birthday that afternoon. So I was like, man, now I got to reschedule. So then I was like, you know what? Let's just put it on for Saturday. I know I don't have anything going on for Saturday. So, that's how that played out. But anyway, I'm glad to see all you folks, and for those that are here live and those that are here watching the replay, I appreciate it. And, if you notice the title, it was talking about Disney cruises. If you saw the thumbnail, am I going on a Disney cruise? But we'll get to that later. But I want to jump in and hit some of these new cruise news stories for the week. And if you noticed on Wednesday, I dropped a video about the rock slide that happened in Skagway, and apparently some folks that were on the White Pass Railroad excursion, they got stranded. The train tracks were covered. The road back to Skagway was blocked, and so they had to figure something out. And so we got this follow-up, just kind of a follow-up news story in regards to that. And so basically what ended up happening was because it was mostly Holland America cruisers and some Princess cruisers. So Holland America got some buses, and they sent them over there. They put the cruise passengers on those buses, and they had a 6-hour drive over to Haines, Alaska. And they had I guess some tenders set up to transfer them from the pier over to the cruise ships. So this little article comes from the Chilkat Valley News, which is based out of Haines, Alaska. And the title of it, we got a bonus tour. Cruise passengers stranded in Canada by rock slide rejoin their ships in Haines. And you got a little picture there of the tender, folks getting on it. And so it's updated. The news story is updated. It says at 4 a.m. Wednesday, just as the sun was starting to cast long blue shadows over downtown Haines, 4 massive Holland America tour buses motored into the parking lot of the Port Chilkoot cruise ship dock. Some 150 people climbed down the stairs and slowly made their way down the dock. A handful to photograph themselves in front of the Haines sign before climbing onto tender boats, basically water shuttles, and bound for nearby Holland America Koningsdam. So, you know, it's a little extension of the of the excursion. So those folks, they got to say that they visited Haynes, and so uh, I guess there was a couple of Australian passengers, and basically they were just joking around saying we didn't expect to make it here. We got a bonus tour. The crowd was primarily cruise ship passengers who disembarked in Skagway on Tuesday and were riding the popular White Pass and Yukon Route Railway. And of course, like I said, that got covered up by the rock slide. And so yeah, so a nice long bus ride, but you know, from what I heard, nobody got hurt, nobody was injured, nobody lost their life. So all's well that ends well, and they did make it back to their cruise ship. So good for good a good ending to that story. And let's see. Oh, and we got the Bud File stopping in. Well, good morning to you. Welcome in. Welcome in. And so, yeah, that I just, thought that was an interesting story all the way around. I couldn't imagine, being involved in something like that, but you never know. You never know what is going to happen. Let's see. So we had some other stories pop up this week that I thought I would touch on. And the next story involves Carnival Cruise Line. Oh, and hey, we got Destination Fun in the house. Good morning. Welcome in. And let's see if we can get this one to load. Doesn't want to load. I guess I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Well, let's see here. Man, I don't know what it is about this one particular website. Let's see. Every time I pull up the article, it doesn't want to load. Okay, let's see if that does it. Just wants to be a pain. Sorry for this delay here, folks. Well, it was basically in regards to Carnival was basically reinstituting the hand cut French fries at Guy's Burgers. That was the big news, which I don't understand why I can't seem to find it. I had that article this morning, but yeah, that was the gist of it. They Carnival cruisers have been complaining, I guess, for whatever reason, sourcing, whatever, supply chain issues. They went away from the hand cut French fries at Carnival and at Guy's Burgers and started using the machine cut French fries, and that didn't go over so well. People have been complaining about them, and so they decided to bring those back. And I guess it's been on a few select Carnival ships so far, but according to John Heald, they're going to be rolling those out to everybody. So that was the news. I couldn't, I had the article, but I'm not sure. I guess I might have to do a little screenshot of the articles from now on. But yeah, that was it. And then they also announced, I guess they updated some late night menu items. They were adding, they mixed in some different sandwiches and stuff. Because, there for the longest, it was always just kind of pizza and room service options. and so they added some more sandwiches, some chicken soup, or some other things. So, but yeah, that was the gist of that. And so I don't know. What do you know? I have noticed the French fries issue at Guy's Burgers. So I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but yeah, that was the story there that I had for you. But looks like we got Scrow's Nest in the house. Good morning, welcome in. Glad to see you. And make sure we're not missing anybody here. Everybody's saying hi to each other, and Randy's letting Scott know that he drank his coffee from Scott's mug yesterday. Well, hey, that's pretty cool. And Scott says French fries. Yep, got to have those fries. Of course, I noticed when I was on the Jubilee, I really liked the fries that they had at Shaq's Big Chicken. You know, those fries were way better than the ones at Guys. But yeah, so there you go. Some Carnival bringing back some favorites, remixing the late night food menu, food options. And so there was that. And then I had one more story. Let's see if we can bring this article up, hopefully. My goodness. And oh yeah, Bone Tired Traveler says they love the hand cut fries. Me too. I think everybody does. And Scott says yes, he won it on Thursday trivia a while back. Well, hey, congrats on that, Randy. It's always good to win some merch. But in the cruise industry news, we had Royal Caribbean reporting that they have been sailing at 132% occupancy on the Icon of the Seas. Wow. I mean, that is a lot of people, but it's the world's largest cruise ship, and I guess it's generated a lot of buzz. People want to get on it, and basically, according to Michael Bailey, the CEO of Royal Caribbean, it's currently sailing at 132% occupancy, which basically the ship's double occupancy is listed around 5,600. And if they're sailing on 132% occupancy, that means they've got 7,400 guests on board. So almost 8,000 people. I mean, I can just imagine the crowds, the lines. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's a big ship and there's a lot more things to do. So maybe, and that's what I've heard, is that there's so many things to do that even though there's a ton more people on board, it's really spread out so you don't feel it. But I don't know. I think as the more I'm cruising, I mean, don't get me wrong, the big ships, they have some of the coolest amenities and venues, and it's not that I wouldn't go on one, but it's just, you just wonder, what is the limit, where, when is big too big. But so there you have it. So yeah, definitely in demand. A lot of people wanting to get on this ship, and so I guess just if you're not a people person, then you don't want to you may not want to book the Icon of the Seas. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, and I guess that kind of signals, people always ask the question, is cruising back? And I guess that's some pretty good evidence right there that it is. But so yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. And so we'll go ahead and get to the main topic of the today's live stream. And I've talked about it on other live streams in the past, and there's been had discussions about Disney, and I've always kind of felt like Disney's one of those lines that I probably wouldn't sail on because I'm just not a Disney person, and I've always kind of, I've been that way for a long way. I mean, yeah, when I was a kid, sure, but once I got to, get to about, being a teenager, back in the day, they didn't have Marvel, they didn't have Star Wars, they didn't have a lot of these franchises that they required these days. So there really wasn't much, once kids got older, there wasn't much to get into. And so I kind of gravitated more towards Transformers and GI Joes and all that kind of stuff, and so it just never there just wasn't an interest. And plus, you look at the pricing for Disney cruises, and it's hard for me to justify spending that kind of money, uh, and for what they're offering. And it's one thing if you're married, you got kids, I can understand that. So yeah, I just kind of resigned myself that I wasn't going to do it. But as life always has some twists and turns for you. My family, uh, they, on my sister and her family on that side, they're big Disney folks. And apparently they were putting together their a little meetup down there, and they were going to go on a Disney cruise. So they all, invited me along. So, you know, uh, so in that scenario, I can feel comfortable doing it because I'm going with my family. It's more about spending time with them. And so I did. I went ahead and I booked the Disney Wish for next summer. I believe it's out of Port Canaveral. So it's going to be a 4-day Halloween cruise, and so since I'm traveling by myself, I just went ahead and booked the cheapest, the cheapest interior cabin, and it really wasn't cheap. So quite a bit of money. I think altogether it's coming out to be about 2,700 bucks for a 4-day cruise. So, and in comparison to a 3-day cruise that I'm doing on the Utopia of the Seas this year, which is Royal's newest ship, it's like $1,000 less, so. But I thought it'd be a good little topic for the live stream, talking about Disney. And I don't know if any of you folks have been on Disney cruises, uh, you know, maybe some tips, pointers, things that you experienced. But I found a couple of articles, and over here in the chat, we Scott from Controversial Cruising saying lots of passengers in regards to the Icon of the Seas. Yeah. 7,400. And then Bone Tired Travelers says, yeah, I'll stick with the smaller ships. And then also, oh, Disney's going to get that money. Sure. Yeah, that was an eye opener. I mean, when I went to price that one out, I was like, wow. You would think I would be getting a balcony for what I'm paying. And the deposits, I had to put down $500 up front. So, they don't even give you a break on the deposit. So, but yeah, I got found a couple of articles here, and got one here, and this is from Disney Cruise Line fan, and it's basically for first-time Disney cruisers. And basically, they break it down. They got all the different topics. 6 major considerations for choosing your ideal Disney cruise, research, booking flights, holidays on Disney cruise lines, Halloween on the high seas. This is because this is supposed to be a Halloween themed cruise. So, and let's see what they got to say about that. Halloween on the high seas returns to Disney Cruise Line from mid-September through October 2024. The season of extra special savings will bring the fun Halloween to guests on select cruises. Families will dress up and join Disney characters in their Halloween costumes. They'll dance the night away at a spooky celebration on the upper decks. enjoy spine-tingling themed food and beverages, and immerse themselves in a ghostly ship takeover with elaborate decor and a magical pumpkin tree. Well, that's sounds interesting. That should make for some interesting vlogs for sure. And so yeah, it's talking to they're going to be doing 3 and 4 night Bahamian voyages, which is that's basically where we're going to Nassau, and I guess their private island is Castaway Cay or Key or however you want to say it. But I don't know. This other article I think is better that I found, and this is from Gary Bembridge, Tips for Travelers. He's got a really huge YouTube channel focused on cruising. And this is 13 things I wish I'd know before doing a Disney cruise. And number one, it says basically Disney is a themed cruise. So be ready for it because there is no escape once you're on board and immersed in the Disneyness. And that's kind of what I've been seeing too. I've been watching some videos, and there's a lot of, they got the characters, people dressed up as in the characters, the costumes and stuff. A lot of photo ops, meet and greets. But while most other cruise ships are floating hotels, this is very much a unique Disney-filled kingdom at sea. Disney magic is weaved into everything, the decor, entertainment, food, cabins, and everything. One thing I would recommend is go on the Art of Theme tours. They run multiple times across the cruise. As a Disney cruise is fully themed, it's best for people that love and know Disney or going with someone who does. So I guess you got to do a little bit of research. And there's a picture of him with Pluto. See, I know the old, I know the old original like Mickey, Daffy Duck, and Pluto things. People like that, characters like that. But I'm not too familiar with the newer Disney characters. So I guess I need to acquaint myself with that. Number two, fast mover advantage. Disney Cruise Line travelers are incredibly fast moving and efficient. People zoom in and lock down anything that can possibly be booked, especially with dining, activities, events. When these things go on sale at 1 after midnight, people are online immediately booking them. Importantly, access is based on your past cruiser status. For example, first-time guests could only start booking 70 days out prior to the date of sailing. And apparently, I guess the people that's been members longer, they get more time. And so things get booked up, and you might miss out, Be connected. The third thing I discovered is that you need to be tech savvy. Download the app because Disney has no paper on board. Even in most of the restaurants, you need to scan a QR code. And that's pretty standard with a lot of these cruise lines these days. So you need to have a good smartphone, know how to use it. Dressing right. When it comes to packing, there's something that I hadn't appreciated, even though I knew about it. Basically, there's no real dress code. You're able to go to dinner even on formal nights in shorts and t-shirts. But I guess what he's talking about is more about the parties, because they got these different deck parties, different themes of the parties. And so you got to do your research, make sure, if that's something you want to partake in, make sure you look ahead of time and see what kind of parties they got and pack accordingly. And we got Bill from Warm Strong Adventures. Good morning. Welcome in. I think you're on a cruise right now, so hopefully your weekend is going well. And so back to this. Number 5 is the dining issues. When it comes to dining, it's very different than most cruise ships. The way it works on the Disney Magic. So basically they had 3 main dining rooms, Rapunzel's Royal Table, Animator's Palette, and Lumiere's, which is linked to Beauty and the Beast. And then they have, just like other cruise lines, they got the buffet. They got some other free food options. And then he's talking about, selecting the right cabin. If you're looking for peace and quiet, try to get one on a deck where there's cabins below, above and below, and try to stay away from the decks where they have the kids clubs and things like that. Which, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then number 7, finding your way. Basically, he's just talking about how the decks, how the ship is laid out, and according to him, it's pretty easily. Disney tries to make it easier with the cabins on the port side. That's the left-hand side, having a metal fish outside the door. The fish points towards the rear of the ship, helping you know which way to head. On the starboard side, there's seahorses, so that's kind of cool. Carpets also feature a compass with many stars in it, and the pointy part of the star leads you towards the front. So the fish points to the rear, pointy star to the front. So that's pretty cool. See the Forbidden. Embarkation Day is open house for the kids club. They have the Oceaneer Club from 3 to 11, Edge from 11 to 14, and the Vibe for 15 to 17. Missing features. The other thing I hadn't appreciated and soon discovered is that Disney cruise ships miss some things that I expect on a cruise. For example, there is no casino because gambling is not within their family-friendly policy. That's what I've heard from a lot of people. They do bingo, and there's no drinks package. Again, linked to the adult values they have. So you buy drink by drink, and many people find that ramps well, that really sucks. I'm not going to lie about that because I was already thinking about getting a drink package. So, but let's see, other things they didn't have. Programs with talks. I was traveling to the fjords, but there was no talks at all about the area. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. Characters. There are characters everywhere you go. They're at the sail away, into the cruise party, deck parties. They literally pop up all over the place. People queue for them day and night. If you want a more professional photo option, they do offer extensive photograph packages. And individual photos are up to $20 each. Wi-Fi issues. In terms of Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi is expensive. Cost me $210 for 7 days. Much better than people have said. Adult-only issues, number 12. Traveling as a solo adult was pushed to the adult-only areas. The adult-only areas, facilities, and activities were interesting because although they probably do have more dedicated adult-only areas than others, there were some limitations to them. After dark area after 9 p.m. is available for adults. They have 3 key facilities: Fathoms, Cabaret Lounge, Keys, Cocktail Piano Bar, and O'Gill's, which is an Irish-themed pub. And then gratuities issues. And I guess basically what he's talking about there is, I guess the crew members would keep pushing you for extra gratuities and good ratings and all of that. So definitely sounds like it's going to be a much different experience going on a Disney cruise. I'm not liking the fact that they don't have a drink package. So we'll have to check that out. But I did see that you can actually bring beer on a Disney cruise. You can bring a 6-pack on embarkation day. And then you can also bring another 6-pack. So like if you've got 2 port visits, you can bring another one, one for each port visit. You can also bring up to 2 bottles of wine. So that might be something to look into, but yeah, that's it's going to be interesting. Seems kind of, like it's going to be a different vibe from Carnival or Royal for sure. But there you go. That's my big announcement. Is did book a Disney cruise, so keep an eye out for vlogs on that. That'll be next year. And I also booked a Bermuda cruise on the NCL Jewel out of Philadelphia. That's going to be a 9-night cruise with 3 days in Bermuda, 2 days in South Carolina. So you get 2 overnights in Bermuda, 1 overnight in South Carolina. So that's going to be a different kind of cruise, and that's in 2026, summer of 2026. And then next November, I booked the MSC Seascape out of Galveston. So that'll be some branching out, trying some different cruise lines, break things up, do some different things. But I think that's all I've got for today, folks. I won't take up any more of your weekend. I really appreciate you guys dropping in, and hope you guys are, had a good start to your weekend, and hope the rest of it goes well. And, if you like this kind of content, please consider hitting the thumbs up on the way out. And if you are new to the channel, watching the replay, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, helps push the message out to the masses. And I appreciate anybody that watches, likes, subscribes, shares, comments. And that's going to do it, folks. Appreciate you guys dropping in, and I will see you guys on the next video. So take care, everybody.